Right. Good evening and welcome to the first episode in 2024 of the GYMHA Mind Matters talk show. This is designed to captivate and stimulate your mind. Global Youth Mental Health Awareness brings together another international panel to brainstorm tonight about the difference between mental health and mental illness. Joining me tonight are Dr. Rania Lampu from Greece. She'll give us a short bio before we dive into tonight's session. We're also joined tonight by Chijioke Nkwanku, Dr. Ramya Nair, and I'm hoping Nur Ahmed will join in a little bit later, as well as Dauda Abdul Karim. I am Mahmouda Khan, joining you from Zimbabwe. I am a TV presenter, news anchor, and People's Operations Manager at Wired to Love and Thrive. So, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me. Maybe if I can ask each one of you in order to just give a brief introduction of what you do and who you are, and then we'll dive straight into tonight's topic. So, I'm going to give the floor first to the ladies. Chijioke, I hope you don't mind. Dr. Rania, no stranger to the platform. We'll start with you.
Greetings from Greece. Thank you so much, Hadi Mahmouda. I wish you a very fruitful year 2024 with a lot of enriching and constructive discussions on mental health issues. I'm Rania Lampu from Greece. I'm Director of Training of GYMHA and also I'm a global educator, STEM instructor, researcher, author. I'm specialized in cognitive neurosciences and neuroeducation. And currently I'm working at the Greek Ministry of Education at the Directorate of Educational Technology and Innovation and also at the Greek Astronomy Space Company. But also I'm the founder of many international humanitarian projects based on Sustainable Development Goals.
That's fabulous. Thank you so much, Dr. Rania. I'm going to cross over now to Dr. Ramya Nair. I'm so glad you can join us. You're looking amazing. How's 2024 for you? And just give us a brief intro.
Very good evening, Mahmouda and Dr. Rania. And I'm very much glad to be part of this very first talk of GYMHA. Wishing all my GYMHA members a very happy new year. So this is going to be my third year with GYMHA. I'm associated with and a proud member of the GYMHA family. So, to talk about myself, yes, I'm an academician. I'm also a corporate trainer. I work for the Westford University College, which is in UAE, as manager for academics. I'm also a corporate trainer and the director for learning and development at GYMHA. That's all from my end, and looking forward to have a very good and fruitful association with the GYMHA team members. Thank you so much.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for that. I'm handing the mic over now to Chijioke. Again, Chijioke, just give us a brief intro. I hope 2024 is being great for you. Tell us where you're joining us from and what is your role here at GYMHA at tonight. I think Chijioke is having a little bit of a technical issue. Chijioke, if you can hear me, let me know. But I think he's dropped off there. So we're not going to really take too much time waiting for the others to join in. We're just going to jump in and brainstorm this topic. It's really exciting. I need to know, it's been a hectic season. There's just so much going on around the world, good stuff, bad stuff, but it's just like a really busy time. And there's moments where you feel like you're just going mad. So for me, this is really great. I really want to understand what is the difference between mental health and mental illness. And I'm going to start with you, Dr. Ramya. Maybe you can jump right in here. What is mental health?
Okay, yes, we usually say that mental health reflects our emotional, psychological, social well-being. So affecting how we think, how we feel and act, mental health has a strong impact on the way we handle problems, we interact with others, and we make decisions. However, today I want to adopt a neuroscientific approach You know that we run experiments to understand the brain processes that cause better and worse mental health, particularly in people with psychiatric disorders. Eventually, decoding these processes could help us invent or improve treatments. But mental health can mean very different things to different people. Neuroscientists have not agreed on a universal definition of mental health, not even psychologists or philosophers. Sometimes better mental health means lower scores on a clinical index, which itself might be measuring depression or anxiety or stress or any other number of factors. Other times, positive scores on well-being indexes are used. That could be life satisfaction, that could be other types of well-being. Still, other times, particular chemicals in the brain or behaviors performed by animals or humans or regions of brain activity might be inferred to represent some aspect of mental health that would be a pleasure, that would be reward, and so on. So, I think that the full picture of mental health must integrate all these aspects, from the experiential to the biological, and map all these roots. Usually, we use terms like mental health conditions or psychiatric disorders or mental illness. We use them at the same time in order to refer to disorders such as major depression or schizophrenia, etc. These more, I think, more medical terms are used to indicate when experiences of poor mental health are severe enough to impair functioning and meet other specific diagnostic criteria. However, you know that the way scientists refer to these conditions is constantly changing. We use a more general phrase, mental health problems or mental ill health, to signify that someone might experience problems without having something which falls clearly into a single diagnostic category. So I think that my view of mental health in the brain is a sort of balance. To stay in balance requires change. For instance, I can mention biology, what is happening. Living organisms survive by maintaining what we call homeostasis. It is a relatively stable state inside the body, irrespective of changes elsewhere, the temperature outside or the hydration, and so on. So to stay in balance requires change. The same happens when we think about our brain mental health. What we think as mental health requires homeostasis. Like our bodies, maintaining a balanced brain requires flexibly responding to changes in our environment. This includes our internal environment, which could present challenges, of course, emotional pain or even some infection, or external environment with various stressors in life. Uh, I think that mental health is supported by many different brain processes, and it's not there is not a universally accepted definition, as I said before. But however, it affects um, uh, our physical and social and emotional well-being, of course.
Mm. You know, you make it sound so simple when you're explaining it. And it's quite interesting because I've been doing these shows for quite some time. And, I still get confused if somebody says to me, oh, Mahmoud, what's mental health or what's mental illness? So I'm hoping that a lot of people are chiming in because you simplify it for us. And I like the idea that mental health is associated with balance in your perspective. That actually made it easier for me. So, for purposes of this online discussion, I'm going to refer to you as Dr. Lampu and I'm going to refer to you as Dr. Ne because I've realized your name sounds similar and I might confuse you when I'm calling you up. So I hope you'll bear with me on this one. Right. So Chijioke is with us now. Chijioke, are you able to hear me? Can you respond?
Yes, I can hear you. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening and welcome to the
Yes,
discussion. I'm going to come to you and I'm throwing the next question to you. But before you respond, just give us a brief background on who you are and your qualifications because the audience didn't get to hear that from you. Dr. Rania just jumped in there and she told us about what mental health is and what it means to her. I want maybe from you if you can explain what the concept of mental health is and how does it differ from mental illness in terms of mainly the symptoms and characteristics?
Okay, can I speak?
Absolutely. The mic.
Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Chijioke Nwankwo from Nigeria. I am GYMHA ambassador and assistant director of operations. So, if I get the question right, can anyone hear me? Can anyone hear me? Dr. Rena, please, can you hear me?
Yes, yes,
Yes,
you're
we can hear
audible.
you. Carry on.
Okay, okay. If I get the question right, it's asking of the concept mental health. Well, to start with, mental health has to do with our overall psychological, emotional, and social well-being. In most cases, people confuse mental health with mental illness, but the fact is both of them are not the same. They are quite two different concepts. When we talk about mental health has to do with our overall wellness, how we feel, how we react to people, how we relate to people. It has to do a lot with the generality of the functions of our body. So when we talk about mental health, we are talking about on a broader concept. And our mental health is always there. It can be positive, it can be negative, depending on on the reaction or the stimuli that we get at any particular point in time. So mental health is a concept that is used to define our overall well-being in terms of our psychology, in terms of our feelings, emotion, in terms of our social well-being, the way we relate to others around us. That is what I see as mental health. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Shiji. Okay. Right, you did touch on that. Maybe I'll come over now to Dr. Nay. Please correct me if I'm saying your name wrong. I just want to know now, in terms of symptoms and characteristics around mental illness and mental health, can you speak more to that? And what are the symptoms and what are the characteristics of these two concepts?
Yes, thank you so much for the question, Mahmuda. So, more than ever, people understand how important it is to have conversations about mental health and mental illness. Now, these terms, as Dr. Rania had said, that we would hear it more frequently, but you may be very much curious about their meanings or having different information on the same. So, having a good mental health is very much important in our both personal as well as professional life. So, mental and the physical well being is very much favorable and it can be negatively correlated as well. It may be anything, any factor. It can be a relationship, it can be the home where you reside in, it can be your job, or it can be your work environment and life experiences. It all have a huge impact on your mental health and illness. So, in short, having a very good mental state, this may definitely help you to feel, think, and act in many ways, which makes your life more enjoyable and productive. So, talking about the symptoms, there are different symptoms which we may come across the mental illness. So, before moving to the symptoms, let me just take you to about the different characteristics which are for the mental health. One is about having a very good positive attitude. So the individuals or anyone who are in a very good condition with the mental health, they have a cheerful disposition. So positive attitude is one very important feature and characteristic of mental health. Second is the emotional resilience. So emotional resilience is a situation wherein you can handle stress, challenges, and hardships in our professional and personal life. The third characteristic which I would like to mention is about self worth and self esteem of an individual. So, feeling positive about ourselves, feeling good about oneself, having a very positive sense of like anything it can be. So, that is again an important part. The fourth characteristics is about a very good, healthy relationship. As said, effective communication, a good cordial relationship, which is very important for the mental health. And most importantly, which we forget, is about our self care. So people who are in good mental health, they take care about their physical as well as their mental health. And the last major part is about the productivity. So if a good characteristics, if I want to mention about the mental health, it would be productivity. Good mental health leads to good concentration. The more concentration you are more focused with your work, and you're able to meet and set the goals which is definitely required for the productivity. And the people who are with good mental health, the major factor is about the flexibility and adaptability. So they are very able to cope up with changes, they accept the situation. And today, if we see in this generation where most of the point is lacking is ability to seek assistance, we hesitate to seek help. So people with good mental health, one major characteristic which I feel is you need to have the ability to seek assistance when and wherever it is required. So don't hesitate. You need to have that uh, ability to speak to others, to seek help from others if you feel that yes, somewhere this is lacking. Now, coming to the symptoms, yes, there are different symptoms which shows that there is a mental illness or mental health which you may be causing with. One is sad feelings without any clear cause. There won't be any particular situation. There won't be any reason, but you feel that yes, this because of this you feel sad. You continuously keep on worrying about it, anything which is not in real or which is not happening, you still continuously think about that situation. uh, Depressive mode wherein you go into, you feel that you are left out. There can be violent situations, there can be angry emotional outburst which is not that good. And maybe sometimes you're unable to relate or you don't feel empathetic for the feelings and thought process of others. This is one of the symptoms. There can be some uh, suicidal thoughts or actions, self-destructions which comes into your mind. That is one symptom which we can see among the mental illness and mental health. And you don't feel like to be with people, you always uh, there are people who would love to talk to others. Now, being if you take my example, I love to talk with others. I would love to be with people. I love to be get associated with the team or with the group. But when someone is feeling in that or he's into this mental health issue, they would remove themselves from some relationships, and they would have all illogical thoughts, which is not real, but they would feel that it is a sensation. This may create again disturbed sleeping habits. There can be change in the eating patterns also. So these are a few of the symptoms which I believe. That's all for this question. Thank you so much.
Dr. Ramya, that was actually quite excellent. I was taking notes as you were going because I don't want to forget any of this. And they always say that. Well, I from personal experience, I read a lot, but the saying goes that when you learn something, the best way to actually grow your knowledge is to put it into practice and then teach what you know to somebody else. So I'm really grateful to all the panelists for joining me tonight and sharing your knowledge with us and the audience at large. I also want to invite the panelists, when I ask you a question, but you feel that you have something to add to the previous question that was asked, please feel free to just um, share your thoughts and then you can answer the question that I posed to you. I'm going to come now to Dr. Lampu. How can somebody assess their mental health? How do you identify potential signs of mental illness?
First, I would like to say something that both mental health and mental illness are states of being that are on a spectrum. What does this mean? That many individuals with poor mental health have not been formally diagnosed with a mental illness. There's another case that many people who do have a diagnosed mental illness can experience periods of physical, mental, and social well-being. And this means that there's a lack of understanding or mischaracterization of a mental health problem. And this can discourage people from getting needed treatment. This means that we need a healthy literacy, and in particular what we call mental health literacy. So mental illness, it's a health issue because it can affect our thoughts, our moods, our behavior. It can impact the way we perceive the world around us. And of course, mental illness can cause distress, and it may affect the way we work, or the way we function in our relationships, and our ability to manage our daily tasks. And mental illnesses usually can last for a short time or for our whole life. Some mild mental illness, we could say, that last only for a few weeks, but sometimes severe illnesses can be lifelong and can cause serious disability. If we talk about the types of mental illnesses, of course, as Dr. Rani has said, that there are anxiety disorders, personality disorders, eating disorders, sleeping or psychotic disorders, substance abuse disorders. When it comes to the symptoms, I think that each type, of course, of mental illness has a different set of symptoms. Um, People, for instance, with depression can have a lasting sadness or low mood. People with anxiety often have excessive worry or fears. Sometimes feelings of anxiety happen without any apparent reason. However, there are some signs of mental illness, we could say, to look out for. That could be an unreasonable anger or irritability, poor concentration and memory, increased or decreased sleep, unusual or illogical thoughts. Of course, like I said before, about the drug use, the lack of motivation, withdrawing from people, the isolation, um, not looking for proper hygiene or other responsibilities, becoming obsessed also with a topic like, for instance, death or religion. Usually, they say that the causes of these mental illnesses that could be, of course, genetic factors, but that could be also a traumatic experience, stressful factors, personality factors, that could be low esteem or people who are perfectionist, and the early life environment, because negative childhood experiences can actually increase the risk of some mental illnesses. I think that health literacy, as I said before, is important because despite the global rates of mental illnesses, many people still don't understand what mental illness or mental health mean. This lack of of health literacy, could say, could have a negative impact on the ability of those who wanted to get help and make informed decisions about how to manage their conditions. So, mental health literacy is important because it can increase awareness and understanding of mental illness. Um, and the poor mental health literacy contributes, of course, to the problem of mental health stigma. Those who do not understand mental health or mental illness often have a negative or harmful attitudes towards those with psychiatric issues. And these attitudes usually lead to shame, to anger, or feelings of worthlessness. If you talk about high diagnosed mental illness, can be, of course, diagnosed by talking to the doctor in detail about the symptoms. I mentioned before some signs, but the next step is to discuss with the doctor about the symptoms. May be helpful to bring also a family member or a carer when we see a doctor. And I think that the doctor will ask questions about our thoughts and the mood. Usually, this happens. They ask about our behavior, if anything was worrying us. Um, there are generally, I think there are no blood tests or brain scans that can confirm mental illness, but the doctor usually may suggest getting tests, and this, of course, the symptoms of different mental illnesses you can find they are described in what we call diagnostic and statistical manual of mental disorders. This manual is very important. So I think these are main signs and symptoms and the way when we can get a diagnosis about mental illnesses. Of course, that could be, I mentioned before, and signs, symptoms, and signs. All are related to sleep appetite changes I mentioned before, to problems thinking, to apathy, to feeling isolated. So many, there are several symptoms that actually can help us realize if there is a problem. Um, and remember something else, that major mental illnesses such as schizophrenia or bipolar disorder rarely appear out of the blue. Uh, Often, family, friends, teachers, or individuals themselves begin to recognize usually small changes or a feeling that something is not right about their thinking, of the feelings or behavior before usually an illness appears in its full-blown form. I have a personal experience from a family surrounding about this. So, learning about developing symptoms or the early warning signs, taking action can help ensure, of course, a proper treatment. Early intervention, remember, the early intervention and prevention can help reduce the severity of any illness, and could improve, of course, can help could prevent any interruption in quality of life.
Great. That was quite detailed, and thank you so much for that. I'm having a little bit of a connectivity issue, but I'm so glad that you can just keep it flowing and everybody else is up to date with where we are. Chidi, okay, let me come over to you. Let's talk a little bit more now about the societal factors that contribute to stigmatization. We know that it's a big deal. You know, in Zimbabwe over here, back in the day, we used to have this advert that would come on, and in this advert they had a young man, and he introduced it, and he said something like, it's very difficult for me to with a mental illness to get a job. People don't want to hire me, stuff like that. And it was quite a touching advert. I remember I was quite a young girl when this advert would come on. So as a public in Zimbabwe, we were made very aware very early about mental illness. And the idea is that, just because you have a mental illness, it doesn't mean that you're not capable of doing stuff. Can you talk more a little bit around stigmatization? What have you noticed? What is your experience around stigmatization with mental illness?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. And thank you, Dr. Rena, for the detailed explanation. When we talk about the stigma around mental health, it has really, impacted negatively to so many persons who, in one way or the other, has tried seeking help. And I shall be discussing some of these factors. One of them is cultural stigma. Cultural stigma is one of the of the stigma around mental health illness. One of this occurs in the aspect that in some cultures see mental illness as as something that is so wrong, something that is so sad. In fact, in some areas, they see people with mental illness as criminals, as some people that are crazy. And most of these reactions to them seems to them as if the world has ended. So in some culture, mental illness is treated as something that is so sad in the society. And because of this, people run away from seeking help. The second one is religious belief. Religious belief has impacted negatively in some area in making those who need mental health challenges to be solved unsolved. In some religious belief, they believe that seeking mental health outside the religious belief is a sin. So sometimes people fail to talk about their mental illness because of what they feel that the religious belief or the religion they are into will say about them. For instance, people are afraid of talking about suicide. People are afraid of sharing their emotions because of what they feel or because of the doctrines of their religion. This has affected so many patients of mental illness that would have seek help from one way or the other. So religious belief has made people believe that sometimes you just have to pray until God answers. But I want to say this to our viewers and our audience. It is very good for us to pray to God, and in other hand, it's also good for us to seek out professionals, to seek out help whenever there is need for us to seek out for help. So our religious belief in most cases has deprived us of that opportunity, of that leverage of discussing even with our religious colleagues our mental health, because they see it as something that is so sinful, something that is so unspoken, and because of that, we shy away from seeking mental health solution whenever we are expected to do so. Another aspect is understanding the mental illness. The society we are today view mental health issues in different ways, and the way they view mental health issue has affected or has stigmatized mental health patients. For instance, some part of the society feels that mental health can come from psychological problems, while some part of the society feel that mental health can come in form of emotional problem. So it becomes a big challenge whenever your support system is against their belief of mental health. For instance, you are suffering an emotional illness and you are living, your support system is along those who believe that mental health only comes through physical manifestation. It will be very difficult for them to believe. And when you discuss it with them, they will feel, no, you are not saying the right thing. So the society has stigmatized mental health in these ways, and this has made it difficult for people to seek help from outside the society. Today, people feel that it is better not to discuss the issue of mental health. It is better they leave it tie with them than discussing it with outside world. Thank you.
Yep, you're absolutely right. I love that you touched as well on the support systems and the communities around you, and you spoke a little bit about the religious communities and the inclination to pray over someone. And I know that there's this idea that people who have been diagnosed or who are suffering with a mental illness or have poor mental health, there's this idea that they are possessed by demons when it comes to the religious circles, and this is why they keep talking about prayer as well. But I'd like to hear also from Dr. Nay, what is your experience in your community around stigmatization around mental health? What have you noticed? And then I'm going to throw the same question to you, Dr. Lampu. You can go
Me or
ahead,
Dr. Nair?
Dr. Nay.
Yeah, the question was for me. I I guess Mahmouda, the question was for me.
Yes, definitely for you. And then I'm going to go to Rania with the same question.
Okay, thank you so much, Mahmuda, for the question. Where I believe that both the cultural as well as the societal factors have a huge impact on the mental health and mental illness in each and everyone's life. So, everyone has mental health, just like the physical health, mental health is also important. Your physical and mental well being are very much determined by your body's conditions, your thoughts, your views, your feelings and emotions. Now coming to the cultural and societal factors which affects the mental health of anyone, what I believe is when you think about the culture, what comes to your mind? So I come from a different culture. I belong to a different tradition, and we all panel members over here, we have our own thought process, our own knowledge, experiences, opinions, and perceptions. So many of us quickly consider what is in front of us, such as what I told earlier as well, that there are different various cuisines, clothing styles, languages, traditions. But however, a person's view or thought process or customs and the values, beliefs are also very much influenced by the culture of their community. Now, this affects the way you perceive particularly concepts or actions. And that is what the social stigma is. So, every culture views mental health in a very different way, in a very unique way. Mental health issues which we feel that yes, it is very much increasingly stigmatized by the society, and many people, many expertise also believe that they should be hidden or seen as a sign of weakness. Now this is a challenging situation for those who are really struggling to seek help and speak honestly as a result. So you need to recognize the symptoms and the way that people express and feel about their symptoms. Maybe that won't be taken it in a very positive way. So this has a very huge impact on a person's decision to identify and discuss only physical symptoms, not emotional symptoms or both. So what I believe is that the society, the culture, both the factors have a very huge impact on one's mental health. And the major factor or vertical which we can put here is how much help someone receives for the mental health through the community assistance. Now we have a lot many other strategies wherein we can take assistance or support of the community. So how do we can take help from someone, and this may vary depending on different cultural factors and societal factors. That's all from my end, Mahmouda. Thank you so much.
Thank, thank you so much for that. And Rania Lampu, from your end, the Greek perspective, or maybe the Eurocentric perspective around stigmatization, what have you noticed? Because I think it's different for all of us, really.
Yes, many people with serious mental illnesses are challenged doubly. I mean, on one hand, struggle with the symptoms, disabilities that result from the disease, and on the other hand, they're challenged by stereotypes that result from all misconceptions about mental illness. So, as a result, people with mental illnesses are robbed of the opportunities that define a quality life. Jobs, safe housing, satisfactory healthcare, and a relation with diverse group of people. The impact of a stigma is twofold because it has to do first with public stigma, reaction that the general population has to people with mental illnesses, and on the other hand, the self stigma, the prejudice which people with mental illness turn against themselves. So, mental health is actually a complex issue that can be affected by different factors. So, of course, science has made progress in understanding the role of genes, biology, mental health, but culture plays a significant role in shaping how people think and how they feel about mental health. So it is important to understand culture's role in mental health in order to create this inclusive environment we're talking about that supports people of all backgrounds. So first of all, culture is actually a world view, which is the lens through which we view the world. So it is shaped by cultural beliefs and values, and it can impact our mental health. If we have a distorted or negative view of the world, it can lead to feelings of anxiety, depression, isolation. On the other hand, having a positive or realistic world view can help us cope with life challenges. In some cultures, it is more acceptable to express emotions openly, while in other cultures, emotional restraint is the norm. So this can affect how we can cope with stressful situations and how well we can um, bounce back from setbacks. Something other that is very important, and this characterizes usually Western civilizations. Some cultures may emphasize individualism, narcissism, while others emphasize the importance of community and interdependence. So this affects how we view ourselves about others, how much support we can seek when we face challenges. Studies have shown that depression, for instance, is most common in cultures that value individualism, self-worth, and achievement, rather than in collectivist cultures. And of course, and also, I get that while anxiety disorders are found across all cultures, they tend to be expressed differently in different cultures. In Western cultures, anxiety is often experienced as fear, contrast in Eastern cultures, it may be more likely to be experienced as physical symptoms, as heart palpitation, dizziness. In West culture also, mental disorders are often seen as medical conditions that need to be treated with medication or other medical interventions. On the other hand, in some other traditional cultures, mental health problems are seen as spiritual issues that need to be addressed through religious rituals. And as the previous speaker said, that in some cultures, mental health problems are seen as a sign of weaknesses. People are not willing actually they're afraid of seeking help. Mental health is shaped by cultural factors, such family background, which is important, religion, you mentioned, social norms, because the way we are expected to behave in our culture can impact our mental health. Um, Traditions and all these cultural family backgrounds could be significant factors in mental health. Um,
Right.
so by understanding all this, we can better assess needs and provide them with the necessary healing.
Mm. Absolutely, you're all right, and it's true. I loved also how you touched on, it's just different in every society and every culture. I mean, like over here, especially, men don't really talk about the problems that they're going through or the state of the mental health. And what we've seen over the last few years, maybe the last 5, 6 years, is that the suicide rate amongst men has really significantly increased. So now there's like a national drive on how to get men to open up, men's spaces where they feel safe to talk about their mental health situations as well. Dawuda, it's nice of you to join us. Welcome. I'm hoping you can unmute your microphone. And we've been talking around the issues of mental health and mental illness. And I know that you've been with GYMHA for a while, so you're very conversant with this topic. Um, can you tell me, Dauda, if you can join us now for the conversation, what are some common treatments and therapies for people that are experiencing mental health illness? I can't hear him. Can anyone hear him, Dauda? Um, can somebody
He's
confirm?
having
Is anyone able to
network.
hear Dauda?
No, I can't.
So
Yeah, I'm
I can't
sorry,
hear
Dauda,
him.
we can't hear you. Okay. All right. So maybe let me throw that one to you, TG. Okay. What are some of the common treatments and therapies for people who are experiencing mental health, mental illness?
Yes, so can I?
Okay, thank you for that question. As a matter of fact, there are so many treatments that have been recommended so far for people going through mental illness. One of them is rehabilitation and training skills. Rehabilitation and training skills. It is no longer a secret that during mental illness, people lost so many of their skills. People lost the way they do things. People lost the way they react, the way they think. So one of the best treatment that can be given to them is to rehabilitate them and train them back so they can get back the skills that they have lost during their suffering of mental illness. So if we're able to rehabilitate them and train them back, they'll begin to get back those things that they have left behind during the course of their challenges. Another one is support group. So one thing that support group does for mental health illness patients is that they help to, they help to refer that person to people that are having the same problem like them. And when you see people that have gone through the same challenges as you, they will begin to understand you
Okay, we seem to have lost him there.
Mahmuda, you're on mute. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you so much. Sorry, Dr. Rania Lampu, I was throwing this on to you. We were talking around the treatments and therapies for people with mental illness. And I'm just wondering, is it specific to the disorder you have, or are there general treatments that are available for all sorts of mental illness? What has been your experience around treatment and therapy?
First of all, we need to say that mental illness is treatable. Most people with mental illnesses recover and can live productive and happy lives. Of course, treatment is different for each type of mental illness. It can vary according to the individual and according how serious the symptoms are. Of course, it can depend on our past history and the main types. Usually, the main types of treatment are most popular psychological therapy, which includes cognitive behavioral therapy, supportive therapy, psychodynamic therapy also, or interpersonal therapy. And these there are also therapies which are a group and include the family also therapy. And apart from this, we talk about alternative therapies, complementary therapies, which have to do with meditation, relaxation strategies for stress relief. Of course, there are the medicines, the medication, although in GYMHA we deploy, we do not prioritize this kind of therapies. I will talk about medicines, the treatment of mental illness that could be antidepressant usually or mood stabilizers, especially used for bipolar disorder, or antipsychotic medicine, things like that. Another important thing is the support programs, because community programs can help with training, with employment. They can be very helpful for people with mental illness. So I think more or less are these are the common therapies, treatments that they use for mental illness. This depends, of course, on the type of each illness.
Great. Thank you so much for that. You get these comments from people when, you were talking about therapy. I know Chijioke spoke about, group therapy as well. And you get people that say things like, does talking really help? So I think this is around psychotherapy or like peer support. So Dr. Ramya Nair, does talking help? What are your thoughts around therapy and treatment?
Yes, thank you so much, Mahmuda. So, as Dr. Rania said, that for every factor, even if it is a mental health or mental illness, there are different treatments which we can take care of. So, psychotherapeutic treatment, wherein it includes psychotherapy and the behavioral treatment therapy, which can be given to an individual, it can be given to group or a family, and the anyone who is suffering from a mental health disease. The best part for, or the strategies or the good tips for engaging yourself or keeping good mental health is the first important priority which we can give is to our health. Engaging in regular exercise, eating properly, the diet which we intake, consume a balanced regular meal, drinking plenty of water, any hobby which you will love to do, anything which you try engaging in a soothing hobby, that can be one of the major strategy to improve or prioritize your mental health. Second one is the very important part, the sleep, which where you have to give your sleep a high priority. And nowadays we know that yes, technology is there, so most of the times we do use our mobile phones, but ensure that you give your sleep a high priority. You establish a very good priority and goals, whatever you want to do, ensure that what is your priority, the task must be divided in that particular way. Appreciate others. You have to show appreciation for what you have, see that you're blessed with what you have, forgive others, gratitude. These are very small things which we need to take care of, and this definitely help us for improving our mental health and happiness. And always focus on the positivity, concentrate on the positive things, maintain a very good and healthy relationship. So networking is very important. Do what you love to do, forgive, appreciate. These are very small tips which we can usually practice to improve our mental health and happiness. So stay healthy, stay focused. Wishing you all a very, very happy new year. And once again, take care of your health, take care it as a priority. So, when I talk about health, it's not only the physical health, it is also about the mental health, because your physical and mental health is very much important. And that is what I would love to share with you all at this talk show. Thank you, Mahmouda. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us. And that's excellent timing because we've almost coming to the end of our program. So I'm just going to go across the panel. You've already jumped in. I was going to say, if you know somebody who has been diagnosed with a mental illness, or who is experiencing at the moment poor mental health, who is in a state of poor mental health, what advice or what words of encouragement would you like to give that person? So I'll start off with you, Chijioke. What would you tell someone? How would you encourage somebody who has a mental illness or is in a poor mental health condition right now? I can't hear you. Anyone else? Can you hear him?
No, no, I can't hear him.
Okay, Chijioke, we can't hear you. Sorry about that. Maybe I'll come to Dauda. Let's try you again. I know you had issues with your audio as well a little bit earlier. Are you able to say hello, Dauda? Oh, no. Okay, so we having technical challenges with audio on this end. So, Dr. Rania Lampu, I'll come to you. What advice, what encouragement, what would you want to say to those who
I
are
think
at the moment suffering with poor mental health
in
or
this
mental
case
illness?
we need to be active listeners, to give them space to talk, to encourage them to express themselves and listen to how they're feeling. It's very, very helpful. It's what I'm doing also with students, with children, children that I know that were suffering from specific mental health disorders, or they have serious problems with their house and family background. So the first thing is a private talk and encourage them to open up because it's not easy. We know that this is considered as a weakness, to open up. So find the key to unlock their emotional background and what they're feeling. It's not easy, but it's a very good strategy in order to help them. It's very precious and valuable for them.
Absolutely, you're right about that. It's the support, and I know country by country there are lots of resources. There are institutions that have been set up, a myriad of cases, whether you're feeling suicidal or anxious, you just need someone to talk to. Maybe you need resources, and as Dr. Rania and Dr. Ramya have said, ask for help, reach out for help. Dr. Ramya, what would be your advice, or what would you say to somebody who's got a mental illness right now, or who is struggling a little bit?
Yes. So what I suggest is that don't take the person, like if somebody is suffering from any mental health, don't show them that, oh, it's a very serious issue. Yes, it is a serious issue, but you need to treat them very properly, support them, understand them, respect their emotions, listen to them, hear them out, like what they want to say. And moreover, empathetic, be very much kind, be very much kind. That is what I feel. Be generous to the people, and help in whatever you can to do. Most important factor is like just talk to them, because they would love to talk to you. Listen to them, respect their feelings and emotions. And the major attribute which I mentioned is about the empathetic. You need to be empathetic in your personal life as well as professional life. Kindness is a very small gesture, but you need to inculcate it. And don't think too much. Whatever has gone, that's a past. So past is past. Forgive, appreciate, and try to live a very healthy and happy life. So that will happen only if your thoughts are good, if your body conditions are in a very appropriate way, the feelings and emotions which you carry. So surround yourself with positive people, positive vibes, remove the negativity. Your mindset is everything. That is what I believe. So your mindset is everything, and you need to take care of your mind. Be positive and be happy. Don't think too much. Yes, whatever has happened has happened. Just live in the present, live in the moment, and you're blessed. You're unique, you're special. Love yourself. That's all what I would love to share.
That's
Thank
been
you.
excellent. I'm sorry, we've come to the end of our program. This has been another Mind Matters talk show brought to you by GYMHA. Please reach out to Jude at gymha.org if you have any challenges, or if you are looking for help and you don't know where to go. GYMHA is here to support you. You can find us on all our social media handles. That's Global Youth Mental Health Awareness. And I want to thank the panelists tonight. Dauda, thank you for joining us. Chijioke, it was wonderful speaking to you. Doctors Rania and Ramya, it's been fantastic as usual. Thank you so much for keeping the conversation flowing. We have learnt a lot. And remember out there, sharing is caring. So whatever you've learned today, however you've come across the GYMHA page, let people know about what we're doing. There are going to be bi-weekly conversations, monthly conversations. Join in. To everyone out there, have a great 2024, and I look forward to seeing you all at the next Mind Matters talk show. Have a good night.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being a wonderful host, Mahmuda. And thank you so much, Dr. Rania,
My pleasure.
Doga, and Suzuki. It was great interacting with all of you. Thank you. Good evening. Good night.
Thank you.